Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Today, the one thing we can all do right now to improve our financial future, our next guest says that means all of us, stay-at-home moms, even those who have lost a job. Mathew is an investment expert with Country Financial. He is here with more on planning for the future and planning for the unexpected.
Yep.
Great to see you.
Good to see you.
This is a great topic, and I love that it truly applies to every single one of us, everybody who's watching. What is the one thing we can all do right now to help improve our financial situation?
The one thing you can do, if I can just say one thing that you look at, is print out those credit card statements, those debit card statements, and figure out where that money is going. So everybody has that money coming in, but 9 times out of 10, where's the money going? So if we can figure out what that budget is, where that money's going, that is the hardest thing to figure out, but the easiest too. So it's just, let's get it done and figure out where it's going.
It's the B word, budget. Yep. A lot of people don't like it. It's not fun. It's hard to face where we're spending our money, but it's important, right?
It is, and it's, I mean, there's a lot of cash that people don't know where it's going. I've had people look at, they found out they're spending $3,000 a month on a restaurant budget, and they didn't even know that money was going there. They felt like they didn't have any money, so once we cut back on that restaurant budget, that helped a little bit.
Right, because that's expensive.
Yep.
What is the 50-30-20 rule?
So 50-30-20, if you've never done anything with budgeting before, so this is kind of a rule of thumb you can use to figure out maybe I am spending too much money here or there. So 50% is fixed expenses. That's something like a mortgage, insurance, things that are going to happen regardless of what's happening outside.
What should happen is the 50-30-20.
Yes.
So 50% or less should go to those necessities.
The fixed expenses.
Fixed expenses.
Yep. And then we have 30% for discretionary. So again, with discretion means that's at your discretion, so you don't have to, but you are. So that should be about 30% or less. Now 20%, that's for the retirement. So at least 20% should be going to retirement portfolios, things like that, IRAs, 401ks, things like that.
It's interesting because I always think of a plate when you talk about that, or some people say a pie chart, but it's like, dividing up your portions, like how much is protein, fat, whatever. So with finances, it's great. 50% fixed, 30% discretionary, or 20% for retirement.
And that's something people can use if they don't, if you're looking at your expenses, you don't know kind of how to do that, that's the best rule of thumb, I would say.
What about an emergency fund? Because we've talked about this before. You see that as being very important.
I do, because things happen, as people know. Usually they happen by threes too. So you're going to get kind of dinged. So with that, 2 to 4% should be going to an emergency fund. So if something bad happens, we have a pile of money there that can kind of help us out. Say a water heater goes out, refrigerator, just things that are kind of larger purchases. You need something to kind of help you out along the way.
And it's a good way to figure out. And if people are kind of wondering how much, I know that's a conversation you're always willing to have too. Start saving now, even if it's small. Right?
Start saving now. The smallest amount of money, you'd be amazed at how much that grows to. So the best thing you have on your side is time. So if you're 25, you feel like you don't have any money, take $100 every couple of months, put that into something, and just watch that puppy grow, because it's going to grow pretty fast. And
life insurance you see as being key. That should be one of the first things we spend our money on, right?
Yeah, I do, because I've seen families before where they didn't have it and they need to sell the house, they need to move it into an apartment. I mean, that can just devastate a family. When people look at it and they say, hey, I have life insurance through work, well, that's supplemental insurance. It's not supposed to be the standalone. It's called supplemental. So you should have your own policy with that.
Right. Yeah, and you can help people determine how much life insurance they should have. What do you feel that it does for us? Because we kind of broke it down by category in terms of life insurance. It can replace lost income, right? And cover expenses, mortgage, other debts, your kids' education, and leaving a legacy. But here's this acronym too, DIME.
So for that DIME, if people are trying to figure out how much life insurance you probably need, D for death, that's how much, say, like a funeral costs. So a lot of people will ballpark between $15,000 and $20,000. For income, so say you make $50,000 a year, you're 40 years old. Well, you have about 25 years of income before retirement, so that's 25 years, so 25 times 50. And then your mortgage, whatever you have left on your mortgage there, you're going to probably want that paid. Then any sort of education that you want too. So education expenses are just growing and growing. College is not getting cheaper. So if you want to pay for your kid's college fund, well, that's a way to take care of it.
Well, it's funny because you think, oh, I have $500,000, let's say, in a life insurance policy. That sounds like a lot of money. And then you think about what's remaining in your mortgage. You think about, in my case, college education times 3 kids, 4 years at least for each one of them. I mean,
I feel like I'm making you nervous here as you're saying it out loud.
But it's important to think about, because $500,000 sounds like a lot of money, but when you break down those very important, very real expenses, it's not.
Yep, it's the amount of money that's spent over a lifetime is astronomical, and when you figure out how much money you're actually worth with all those years you're working, it's a lot of money. It's not just $500,000 here and there.
Really quick, can you walk us through an example of a 35-year-old person who has a family making the $50,000 just as a ballpark amount per year?
Yeah, so for back to the dime example, so if you have a funeral, that's $15,000. The income, say you're making $50,000 a year, and you have say even 20 years left before you retire. You're going to need, what is that, 250,000 carry the 5 roughly? Doing math out there.
Or we have,
how do we do this one on the screen? That's a lot easier.
Right, there we go. And then,
so 50,000 times 30, we have about 1.5 million. Your mortgage, you have about 250,000 left on that. And education
is probably conservative at $250. So it's more than $2 million.
Exactly. And for those numbers, I mean, you got to make sure with the company you work with, they can approve you. So people do have different underwriting limits that they'll let you work within. So that's also another factor we need to work within.
It's good to see that example and see those numbers, because like we said, it really adds up. People can get in touch with you and ask questions. We covered a lot of things, but I think it's very good, solid advice. The Safe and Secure plan is something everybody should look for, I think, especially if you have kids, but even if you don't. All right, you can contact Matthew directly by calling his office. It's 414-332-2137. His office is located on Oakland Avenue in Shorewood, or you can email him privately, matthew.holbrook@countryfinancial.com. But it's key for us to protect our assets with insurance and also have that rainy day or emergency fund.
Yeah, and the earlier the better.
And we even help people set a budget.
Yeah, I mean, that's not everybody comes in my office with a pile of money there. A lot of times it's, hey, how do we create a pile of money? So that's usually step one. So if you're feeling like that's you, I mean, you're not alone.
Got it. Thank you so much, Matthew.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Still